the student will have to find a solution. So what kind of solution do you expect the student to come up with after 3 hours or 2 hours of discussion as you wrote?
We hope that the student can discover the way to survival. For example, they will choose the replaced product or the replaced channel of distribution. For example, in that case, they can make the relationship with the building the apartment to give the food to the citizen in the block down building.
Okay. So you already came up with a few solutions at the end. So you say that changing the supply chain, yeah, and then the building, right? And what else? What else do you come up with as a solution?
And change also the product before that they have the restaurant. The customer can come to the restaurant, and now they can deliver the food to the building directly.
So let me copy here the so activities. I will copy from what you want to do here. So now it cannot be different types of businesses. We only have one. So production and commerce, historical, because you only have one Koto K, so it cannot different type of businesses. You see?
Yeah.
So there could be this current, okay, describe. So activity. Now we have to focus on Koto. So now you want to talk about before COVID and after COVID. So then you will see, so describe the components, okay? So see, the Koto was already a success example by the time you wrote the case, right? So that will be the model. How did the model work? How the model work? Okay, so the broken parts because of COVID, and then there will be new model for the new context, correct? Okay, everyone? Okay, you get it so far? So why now we have these activities? So the first here is pedagogical objective. Here is to teach, right? Here the objective is okay. And then we'll have so you know the next objective that it can serve. So if you see the how the model worked prior to COVID, So here it would say analyze the strengths and the. So that's what you gave me earlier, right? So how the model, because Koto already had certain success by the time you wrote the case. So analyze the strengths of the model. And then the broken part, it's where you get the analyze the and then so you would have, because in order to go there, so then if you want them to evaluate, then they must be able to, so this is the knowledge. So knowledge of the total comprehension of EMC. The application. Then we have the word analyze and synthesize. Synthesize the new model for the new context, synthesize the information, formulate and select. Okay, so is it clear for you so far?
Thank you so much. It's so clear now.
Okay, so now it comes to questions. So now we have the activities. Now it comes to questions. So you design, and I forgot at the beginning, we got the founder of Koto, this one. So this is what we want to teach students, right? So this is the basics of what we want to teach the students. EMC for social business. Okay. So now we have the basis here. We have to provide the information for the students to redraw this canvas. So now we'll have to have the questions. So now I'd like you to come up with the questions for these activities. So is it okay? I divide you into the group for 15 minutes to come up with some questions. So I will send you this file in the chat.
And Miss Mai, all of us will come up with a question for this case, right? Or just only our group?
No, everyone, because we are practicing.
Got it.
Because when we have the question, then we can determine what information to write. Because we go backward, right? We have the question. So in order to answer this question, what kind of information is needed? So here I put it in the chat. Everybody, you received it? Case demo, and I go back with the question lists. Tools. Yeah, so I put in the chat now. So now I will divide the class into two groups. Is it okay? So I'll divide you in two groups. And so I will now the task I will need you to do here. Let me type in the task. Let me reopen it. Okay. So we'll need to come up with the questions in order to help students here. So understand the components and the tools, and then analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the model, okay, and synthesizes. And so your job now is list questions and then identify the information needed to answer the question. Identify. Okay. And any questions so far? So your job now in 10 minutes is to come up with a list of questions that can help the students to use this canvas, the BMC, and then identify the information needed. You don't need to write whole sentences. It's just say so I give an example like this. So in order to help them understand for example, you can talk about the information such as the partners. If the partners, then we have to write information about the partners. So you talk about the lockout, we will need information about the lockout. When we talk about the distribution channels, then we will have to find information from distribution channel in Ho Chi Minh City and in other cities and overall for Koto. Do you understand your task now? 10 minutes, okay?
I just want to confirm that I got the task right. So we will come up with a list of questions for objective number 1,
Yes.
helping students understand the components of BMC.
Yeah. So if you have, for example, now, if you want, I just give an example, okay? Teach the component of the tool. So there are many components. So we can give one component as a social value, as a one component of value proposition, okay? So then I would ask the question like this. Okay, so I'm giving you an example, okay? So questions to ask about here. What impacts does Koto want to create with its business? Get it so far? So I just give an example here about I want students to find out the value proposition of Koto, the impact. What impacts does Koto want to create with its business? Okay, so how does it yeah, because we are not going to say exactly what is a social value proposition. Because if you have that word, then you're already giving out the answer. So the student will not be able to identify that this one will help us to understand the social value proposition. Okay? So now in order to understand, in order to find answer to this questions, right? So we would need information. What kind of information we need to understand here we will need the vision and mission of Koto, right? Description of the service and the people it employs. So these are the minimum in order to answer this question. Okay. And so, survey the people it's employed and the product itself is not. So here it's about the mission. So, any other questions? So you know your task? Okay. So you work in group. So, you divide in your group. So who will work on the questions to teach the components of the tools? Yeah. So who will work on the components of the how the model worked before COVID? So what made it successful before COVID? Right? If it grew to 4 stores, that means the model works. Okay. So now let me divide you into 2 groups. So 10 minutes from now. So try to work and divide among yourself, and different members will work on different questions. Okay. Two rooms. So I will make one room in Vietnamese and one room in English. Okay, can you all go to your room, please? Yeah, so please go to the breakout rooms to come up with the questions and the information needed to answer the questions, please. Can you please go to your room? Or should I put you in the room?
I haven't received any invitation.
Oh, no, you can choose your own room. Okay, so let me put you in the room then.
Yeah, thank you. I see.
Dr. Mai, would you mind to put me in the room, please?
Okay, I'm going to put all of you into the room.
Cô Mai ơi, cho Linh vào phòng tiếng Việt với.
Ok, Linh. Nên mà tôi nghĩ tôi đã
thì họ tự chủ hơn về mặt tài chính á, ít có dựa vào cái sự hỗ trợ từ bên ngoài. Thì lúc em đọc thì em thấy ấn tượng ở chỗ á, là thay vì các cái chương trình khác là ví dụ đào tạo nghề cho các bạn trẻ, đúng không, thì đào tạo xong thì tự các bạn sẽ phải đi tìm việc làm. Và cô Tô là bản thân cô Tô có hệ thống nhà hàng để sau khi đào tạo các bạn có thể làm việc tại nhà hàng của cô Tô luôn. Và khi các bạn làm việc tại nhà hàng cô Tô thì cái nguồn doanh thu đó nó lại tiếp tục được phục vụ trở lại cho việc đào tạo những bạn trẻ khác.
Dạ, cho nên chính vì vậy mà khi mà bị Covid á, thì các cái nhà hàng đóng cửa, coi như là nguồn doanh thu của họ cũng không có để mà chạy. Và đặc biệt là đối với nhà hàng thì nhân lực thì mình không nói, tại vì chi phí đó là có sẵn rồi, đào tạo và lấy những nguồn nhân lực đó. Nhưng mà những cái nguồn nguyên vật liệu nè, các cái trang thiết bị cho nhà hàng nè, rồi vận hành nhà hàng, những cái đó tốn rất nhiều chi phí. Thì khi mà nhà hàng không chạy được thì chắc chắn là cũng không có tiền để mà đào tạo, chưa nói gì là trả lương nữa. Cho nên là mình đang hỏi coi là ngoài cái đó ra thì còn cái phần doanh thu nào mà nó có thể là bền để mà trong cái trường hợp mình đang bị Covid như thế này á, thì có thể hoạt động tự chủ được không?
Thì chỗ này em sẽ ghi chú cái ý câu hỏi là trong bối cảnh dịch.
Mình còn mấy phút nữa vậy mọi người?
Mình còn 1 phút nữa thôi ạ.
Cái này theo mình đôi khi chúng ta chỉ cần đọc sơ qua thôi, và chúng ta sẽ là người đi đặt câu hỏi, đúng không ạ? Thì Thuyết kéo xuống cái file cuối cùng của mình có ghi được 4 cái cụm câu hỏi cho 4 cái này á. Thì ví dụ như cụm câu hỏi đầu tiên là nó liên quan cái file cuối cùng của mình ấy, nó liên quan đến cái business model, thì mình sẽ hỏi những cái liên quan tới business model của nó, trong đó có bao gồm phần lợi nhuận luôn ấy. Thì ví dụ như các thành phần chính trong mô hình kinh doanh là gì, bởi vì khi chúng ta đọc chúng ta sẽ không tìm hiểu được hết, thì chúng ta có quyền hỏi khi mà chúng ta đi đúng không ạ? Và mình hỏi về doanh thu thì mình hỏi về là phần phi lợi nhuận, và lợi nhuận nó trong mô hình này nó phối hợp với nhau ra sao, cũng như là cái nguồn doanh thu của mô hình cô Tô này nó là gì, và nó tạo ra cái tác động giá trị xã hội ra sao. Còn về cụm câu hỏi số 2 nó liên quan tới how model work prior to Covid á, thì mình sẽ hỏi những câu như là điểm mạnh của mô hình này trước Covid là gì, và nó đã góp phần vào sự bền vững như thế nào, và mô hình này nó có tác động gì đến đời sống của học viên và nhân viên, vì hầu như họ đào tạo ra rồi họ đi cung cấp lại cho các chỗ khác, chứ họ không có nhảy vào cái business model đó. Là
Hello, everybody back? Hello? Good. Okay, so I would like to get some feedback from you. So what questions did you come up with? Hello? At least the case authors. Come on. Hello? You didn't come up with any question. How come? I cannot hear anything. Anna, I see you. I see you.
Teacher, everyone's shy now.
How come?
There is no have a lot of question on the chat box.
Okay, so who are the stakeholders? Okay, good. Yeah, if you put in the chat box, I'm going to send
You can see on the file of Irma Perez. She summarized all the question of our group.
Okay, so you are going to send it in the chat, right?
Yeah, it is on the chat.
Good. Okay. Because I'm going to guide you to the next step. So once you gather because the questions will be part of the pedagogical notes, and then we will come to the handout. Yeah, I see Jay, the Koto business, the stakeholders. Yeah. So, but these questions will be for which part of the which objective? Percent, what is your total revenue will be? No, the questions here that we have to give the question to the students. So not the question for our interview. So here we are talking about the questions to that the students will have to assume the role of the founder of Koto to answer the questions. Activity aimed at creating so how much profit will be reinvested into the business. So Ted, your questions here will serve which pedagogical objectives?
May I ask for the support from my group members?
Yes, please. Yes.
Chị Mai hay chị Ngọc ơi, chị có thể giúp nhóm xác định câu hỏi tương ứng từng câu hỏi á.
Yeah, the questions here that mean that we will give the students the questions so they have to answer. Don't forget that they are now founders of Koto. Right, so what kind of questions? I already gave you an example of the questions, so now just go. So you know that the activities. So for activity 1, what questions? So just to help students to redraw the business model canvas. So before
Miss Mai, could you clarify more on the idea that you said that the questions we ask to students when they are in the position of Koto founder?
No,
what does that mean?
mandate is that we ask students. So now the student have to assume the role, the founder of Koto. So they have to answer the questions in order to redraw the business model. So we'll ask the students like so for example, your question here, what percentage of your total revenue? Yeah, so this question, which objective does it serve? So why do you need this question in order to draw the business model canvas? When it's a percentage of your total revenue allocated toward internal operations, salary, infrastructure, and costs, etc. So how does this question serve the objective of drawing this business model canvas? Because this is what we want the student to do at the end of the first exercise, right? The first activity is, so with the information, they must be able to draw this. So we cannot just throw this to the student and say, hey, here is the business model canvas. You draw it. So we have to ask the students questions so that they can they reflect on the business and then fill in the business model canvas. So there are two situations. One is that you already teach students about the business model canvas before, right? So now what they do is just to fill in the blanks because they already know what the business model canvas looks like and fill the blank. Or the other situation is that they don't know about the business model canvas. You ask them questions and then you help them to say, okay, now understanding this will serve as this part of the business model. So let me go back to you what I taught you about the learning you choose. So do you want the students to start from the abstract conceptualization? That means that you give them the theory first. You explain, this is a business model. It has 9 components. These are the components, blah, 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 blah. So you already give them the theory first. And then you ask the question so that they can collect the information to put in the business model that you already teach. That's one way. Or you can go the other way around by going with the concrete information. So you ask a list of questions, and then you tell them that this information will help us understand the part. So 2 ways. One, you tell them the business model in advance, and then ask student information to fill in the blank. The other way around is that you ask the information so the students get an idea, and then you help them construct the business model. So which way, the author of this guide, do you want to go? Now you are teaching the 3rd year students. So have they ever seen this business model before? In any context, in some classes. So we talk about the assumption. So can we safely assume that they have seen the business model somewhere, but they may not know how to use it? And our task is to give them the application. That is one assumption. The other assumption that they have never seen business model canvas at all. They don't know anything about that. So we'll help them construct it. So from your context, the 3rd year students, what is our assumption? Your assumption is, yeah, tell me the assumption.
I think for 3rd year student, maybe they already seen this model, but not having a deep understanding on how to use it.
So if your assumption is that they have seen it somewhere, but they don't know how to use it. So the questions will help them to fill in the blank, to find information, to fill in the blank. So we will show the business model canvas to them, and then we ask the question. So as an example of the question I gave you earlier, to ask them about their social mission, to ask them about what do they want to achieve, right? And then we guide them, that answer will help us find the social value of Koto, because Koto wants to hire the disabled people, right? So the product itself doesn't make the value. The value is that the hiring of the disabled people. Get it so far? Oh, I see you, but I don't hear you. Yeah, I saw you speaking, but I don't know if you're making comments. No? Okay. So now go back to your questions then. So now your questions here would be good for these students here. Like, so you ask them these questions. So what percentage of your total revenue here? So given after they answer these questions, how can they construct this business model? Because the business model doesn't ask for the proportion yet, right? So we would ask like, so Tuyết, can you tell me, so after they have answered this question, how can they construct this?
I think for this question, we want to have students analyze the cost structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that will be to help the student to fill in this cost structure section. So in your pedagogical note, you say that these questions will help student understand the value propositions. These questions will help student understand the customer relationship. And so you have to list them, categorize your questions. So not throwing a list of questions like this, you will need to categorize your questions. Okay? So, for example, the total revenue dedicated to activities aimed at creating social impact. So this question will serve what part of your business model? It's still the cost structure, right? So how much of your revenue it will be used for what part? And then, so all of these questions only help students to understand the cost structure. All right. So now look at the question of J. Who are your stakeholders? Among the stakeholders would protect a priority during the pandemic. So this question will serve students to do what part of the business model. So that will be on the key partners, right? So when you ask students about the stakeholders, that will help them understand the key partners to understand the key resources, because one of major stakeholder is the employees, and also the customer is also the stakeholders. So for social business, there are three different types of customers. So we have the customers who buy the products, and there are the customers who buy the mission, the social mission. So then come back here. So the list of questions for J here will help students understand the classify later the customers, the resources, and then the key partners. Get it so far? So now imagine, so I would like to give you a draft handout of the case. So now we are constructing the pedagogical notes first. So now when we want to ask this question, who are the stakeholders of Koto business? What kind of information do we need to provide in the case and a handout? Jay? So it's your question, so I'd like to ask you, Jay.
Prof,
So
sorry, I haven't read the case.
Oh no, that's fine. Here I'm not talking about. So we are constructing the outline first. So if you ask the question about the stakeholders, so in the case handout, we have to give student, we have to fill in what information.
Well, the stakeholders could be the owners or the shareholders of Koto company.
Exactly. That's what I want to get at. So this is the handout. It's pretty generic, but then you can just change the proportion. So then you would have the information, you will find something, okay, right about the founders. So if you ask question about stakeholders, then in your case handout, so you will have to get, the student will have to pick information. So info 1, info 2, blah, blah, blah. And then because you ask stakeholders, then the description of the business here, suddenly you have to talk about its partners, who are the partners, who are the employees, the supporters, customers, and so on. Okay? So it's just because of your question, then we'll have to say, okay, this is what we need to provide as the information. Right? And then, so we talk about the stakeholders, because the stakeholders before COVID and after COVID. So now we have the pandemic context. Then we have some other important stakeholders like the intervention. So international organizations that jump into the problem, and then governments as one, and then we have the government that will have different, so Ministry of Health, what they want, and then we have the Ministry of Finance, because Ministry of Health, they will care about the lockdown. Ministry of Finance care about the profits of the tax the business can generate, or the kind of grant they have to give to help the business. Because Ministry of Finance want to get make businesses work well so they can earn more tax afterward, and so on. So now we have the kind of information that we have to give to the students. So now we go to the next one. So I'm giving you more detail. So now with the big outline, when we talk about the founders, then here we would say what information we have to quote from the word of the founders, what information we can get from secondary data, and then the quote secondary site, secondary data. Okay, and then the okay. So then in this, you have about half a page to maximum 1 page to talk about the founder. So then you will say that, okay, what kind of quote do I have to get from the founders here to help students understand the capacity and potential choices? Because the students have to assume to be the founder of Koto. Okay, so after that, you will have the quote from the founders. So the secondary data, so sometimes that we want to put words, increase the credibility, we will cite other people. So for example, we talk about how other people talk about this founder. Is it person very dedicated, or this person has been on the news? And then and general description could be just like the overall background, how the person grew up, how the person found out the opportunities. Right? So when we quote and cite, we want to put words into the mouth of others to increase the subjectivity when we describe. Okay, and then general description is our own words to describe the founders. Okay, get it so far, group? Okay, so now here I have given you the journey to construct your pedagogical note. So your pedagogical note is this page, slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, and slide 5. These are your pedagogical notes. So let me make it here. Pedagogical note. Yeah. And then the problems that the pedagogical note. So this is a pedagogical note. The question is on pedagogical notes. So usually pedagogical note, it go between 6 pages to 10 pages, depending on the complexity of the case. And the handout is what we give to students in the class. Get it so far? So case author, can you now develop the case further? And then I will then invite you for further training to really make it into a publishable case. Okay? So today I just give you a really a journey of how you write the case, starting from objectives to creating a protagonist and creating a mandate that serve the pedagogical objective, finding questions, and then finding the information to give the handout to students. So after we got this handout bullet point, then we can fill in the information and use creative writing to make it interesting to read. So now let me go to the next section, which is evaluating the teams. So I would like you to go to the platform to follow this link. Yes, so now can everybody go to the link, and we are going to do the mock-up evaluation of this team. So everybody good? You get to the, so we're going to do the first case is fiber good, and the other two, that is for your mock-up evaluation. Okay? So fiber good is what we do today as exercise, and then the other two are for, you can choose to do one of the two. Okay, so let's do it together here. And you would choose this fiber good, and then you would answer the question. So now we all go together and watch the, so you click on the link here. So it will bring you to the presentation of the team. So let me reshare to make sure the sound is good. And if you cannot hear the sound well, then you can play from the link from on your end, right? So fiber good, here we are going to watch the videos together for 10 minutes. And for the interest of time, so we will do the demo of the a few first questions. So here it's very similar to what you did in round one, but the questions are specific for round two. So what is different from between round one and two? So first you see that the social mantra is the same as you already asked. So we want students to improve on it. So it will still be the same. So question 2A2 here is to evaluate the product. Is it, so can we understand the product, what it looks like and how the products are used? And then understand the business model. So here the overview is the 9 components of the business you already know, and focus on the economic value for the customers, and then the social impact or the social value, and then we evaluate its feasibility, and then the profitability, and then the ESG integration. After that, we look for the validation. So from the crowdfunding, crowdsourcing campaign, and then what they have learned out of this campaign. So now I would like to play the video together once.
Hello, we are FiberGood, an innovative and sustainable solution provider. Our business mantra is transforming the wire hyacinth to an eco-fiber while offering fair jobs and reducing a plague. We showed our previous mantra to several people in order to get some feedback and understand what we needed to change. And here are some of the comments we received, which were crucial to create our new mantra. FiberGood offers 2 products. Our first product is an eco-fiber made from wire hyacinth, which you can use to make handicraft products, clothing products, and furniture. And since we don't use all of the wire hyacinth plant to make the eco-fiber, with the waste of the wire hyacinth, we created an organic fertilizer. With its nutrient-rich formula, it will enhance productivity and plant growth. Here you can see some of the suggested uses. Our potential customers are companies that have a vision of innovation and social awareness, that are dedicated to the manufacturing and textile industries, and that have an interest of using or already use natural fibers in their product. Some examples of our potential customers are the City Hall of Veracruz, who we have an agreement already, Cordemex, and Sustexa. To sell the FiberGood's eco-fiber, we will be using a multi-channel distribution, since we will do direct sales that will be online, and also will use distributors to help us expand our market and reach new potential customers. Now, the communication channel with our customer when selling our organic fertilizer will be a direct channel because we want to create a solid contact in order to accomplish our ideal relationship with them, a long-lasting, trustful, honest, and loyal relationship. The transformation of the wire hyacinth plague into an eco-responsible fiber for textiles has had a significant social impact on the communities living near the affected lagoons. This project has managed to address two challenges simultaneously. One, controlling an environmental plague and the growth of the water bodies, and two, providing a sustainable solution for the textile industry with a biodegradable material. By involving local people in the wire hyacinth harvesting, a new source of employment and economic empowerment has been generated for. Our business model starts with the aim of reducing the wire hyacinth plague and offering fair jobs to our main beneficiaries, who are the members of the affected communities by this invasive plant. Fibergood will employ these people to collect and clean the wire hyacinth from the freshwater bodies in their communities. This way, we are going to obtain the raw material we need for our fiber, and the members of the community will have a source of income while cleaning the water bodies and reducing the plague. Once that it's out from the water bodies, the members of the community will cut and clean the stems of the wire hyacinth. The rest of the wire hyacinth will also be bogged and transported to the production center to make fertilizer. For the fiber production at the production center, the stems will be introduced into a defibering machine. Then it will be set to the sunlight. Then when the fiber is completely dry, it is ready to be braided and transformed into our final products, our wire hyacinth eco fiber. And now for the fertilizer, once the wire hyacinth is in the production center, we will put it with the organic waste and soil in the composters, and the workers will return this mix for 3 months, which is the time that it takes for the fertilizer to be ready. Then, when it's ready, it will be packed individually. All of this leads to our business model Canva. It is important to mention that in order to explain the impact of Fibergood in other parts of the world, Fibergood could copy its business model in the tropics and subtropics of Latin America, South Asia, Africa, and the Pacific, where the wire hyacinth has presence in their freshwater bodies. We would reunite the affected communities from this invasive plant, we would employ them to collect our raw material, we would have a production center per country, and we will sell and distribute our products in the area. In order to organize our priorities, we should start by defining our profit-oriented activities. This involves the sale of the eco-fiber and fertilizer products, our partnerships and collaborations, continuous improvement and cost optimization, stakeholder management, and product diversification. By focusing on these profit-oriented activities, Fibergood can generate revenue and financial sustainability while simultaneously addressing the social and environmental challenges associated with the wire hyacinth plague. Then, of course, we have our social-oriented activities. This way, we can create a positive impact on the affected communities, promote sustainable practices, and contribute to the overall well-being of the environment and society. These activities involve environmental restoration and cleanup initiatives, collaboration with local communities, and job creation for vulnerable individuals and engagement with the members of these communities. Now, in order to improve our business model and our key activities, we have to be able to identify our weak spots and how our key activities can be upgraded or threatened. That is why we created a SWOT analysis that identifies our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and finally, our threats. Fibergood. Our team is composed by me, Maria Itzel, the Fibergood's leader, by Karime Lazaro, who is our grade school leader and finance manager, also Dalia Escobar, our business partnerships manager, Diana Lugo, our production and quality manager, Anaí Castellan, our marketing manager, Kevin Rosales, our relations manager, and lastly, Javier Hernandez, our logistics manager. We also have the support of our brilliant coaches, Arturo Lopez, Mari Carmen Telles, and Marina Salazar. To run our business and make it sustainable, we need to do some activities that generate cost. The costs we are going to present here are going to be only generated for the eco-fiber and fertilizer production. According to our calculations, the production of 100,000 meters of eco-fiber will cost $12,747, and 50,000 kilos of fertilizer will cost $4,947. Now, to to talk about profitability, we consider to have a 35 profit margin. This will allow us to have a very attractive profitability, but still have a competitive price for our clients. The fiber production would leave us incomes of $90,611 and the fertilizer $7,612, considering the sales of 100,000 meters and 50,000 kilos of fertilizer. That means our profit are going to be a total of $9,528. Finally, it is important to say that our fertilizer business won't be profitable until the 4th month of operation, since it takes 3 months for fertilizer to be ready. And to conclude this, we should mention that we will help the members of the communities affected by the plague with employment worth of $50,000 every month. The Office of Agricultural Promotion and Rural Development is a government agency in Mexico that promotes the productive, inclusive, and sustainable development of the agriculture, acuiculture, and the fishery sector. We contacted the director of the Office of Agricultural Promotion and Rural Development, Carlos Sosa Ahumada. We told him about our project and the objectives we are trying to achieve. We also told him about the fiber, the organic fertilizer, and the prototypes we have so far. By deciding to enter into a collaboration with Fibergood, they would benefit from us, cleaning up the lagoons contaminated by the water hyacinth, saving them burdens and workloads, and receiving part of the credit for it. Fortunately, they were happy to create an alliance with Fibergood. But non-financial contributions are just as important. The Municipal Women's Institute of Boca del Rio provided us with the necessary knowledge at the beginning of our project. In the same way, the aquatic ants or hormigas acuáticas make contributions to our project. Thanks to them, we were able to learn about another of the lagoons affected by wild hyacinth in Veracruz. That's why we wanted to make a collaboration with them and we created an alliance. These social backers help our project, Fibergood, to start establishing itself as a formal business. All contributions received are equally important and help us later on work.
In this second part of our project, we have learned that a good business partnership leads to positive outcomes.
Along our journey, we have learned to find and engage with new partners and stakeholders interested in our project. We have had great experiences with the local community and stakeholders, which has motivated us to improve our business model by implementing new products and expanding and diversifying our brand. Also, we learned that every business model requires a solid understanding of the stakeholder strategy and production costs.
Clearly, we have encountered some obstacles along the way that represent key risk factors to Fibergood, such as the search of clients due to our lack of market positioning and also the significant investment that is required to kickstart our business. But we know that engaging with local stakeholders, addressing their concerns, and also ensuring their participation will help us to overcome these obstacles.
One of our main goals has been to be a social, profitable, and sustainable business, so that we can solve a problem and generate income while doing so. With the business model round, we realized that it's feasible and achievable to Fibergood.
All right. So now I would like you, because you already got experience evaluating the mantra one-liner, so we can skip it. And now we can go to the product presentation. So what grade would you give for the product presentation? Hello, everyone. So do you understand what the product is? Hello? Oh my God, complete silence. Yeah, so
yes, product is making a fiber from the I don't know how to call it in English, the bell tay. Yeah. Fiber. Yeah.
But at least you can record it right away, right? So after only one round of playing, so the product here, it's easy to understand what it is, right? And so now, how about the product respond to client needs, one, and create social impact? Do you recall? So who are the clients and how do they respond to their needs? So let's go again with the yeah. So colleagues, please. Yes. So who are their clients?
One client is a textile producer,
So here,
textile company.
yeah. So potential customers, so government program for the promotion of rural support, and then for the companies, and then also in the textile industry. So what do they want? So let's see, do they present what they need? So what they
Very good eco
here is
fiber.
that they have a good eco fiber. But do you understand what these customer need and want? So we have the name, so it's pretty clear what the name, but the government, so why would the government want to buy from them? So does the government buy the mission or does the government buy the product in the fiber? What do you think? The government buy the fiber to do what? Because here they say the government program for the promotion of rural support.
In my opinion, the government buy the mission.
Yeah, the government buys the mission because this plan is invasive. It kills the environment. So the government would buy the mission. So now in order to sell the mission, do you think that this product will sell well for rural support? What do you think? Your job is to say yes, perhaps, or no. So do you think the answer is yes or perhaps or no?
My answer is perhaps.
Yeah. Well, they do not spell it out because they don't have evidence. So what exactly the government wants? So how bad the situation is of water hyacinths? How much does it kill the rural environment? So the team doesn't present that information. And when we go to the website of the team, we don't get that information either. So what we can guess is perhaps it's definitely not a no, but we don't have enough information to give a complete yes. So now we go to the next one on the attractive and effective. So do you think that the presentation of the product is good enough for you? Do you want to buy the product? And please pay attention that this round, we focus on the business model. We want to see that whether they can make money on this idea. Because so this is not like the first round. The first round, we evaluate more on the social problem and the solution. So they passed the first round already. So we assume that at least their solution works. Their solution can have certain impact already, but now we want to focus on whether they can make money on that. So now if you think it's attractive, that means that people, by seeing these products, they like to buy, then you give a yes. So let me share the screen again. Yeah, so that's all we can see is just the this. And the image doesn't show us that it's any different from other fibers that we have. And it doesn't give us much information on the other buyers. So the presentation of product is, and then they have the, here, there is the fiber that they would sell, and the end product is the compost. One of the end product is the compost, and the other product is the fiber. That's it. By looking at this, do you think it's attractive enough? What grade would you give? Is it yes, definitely you would jump in and buying this, or maybe depend, because they want to emphasize on the quality of the fiber. They say that the fiber is good for the no information about existing competitors. I agree with Jay. Yes. So we don't know how superior this fiber is. So we know that it can make fiber, but we don't know whether the quality of fiber is better. So if only they have a demo of the rigid, the flexibility of the fiber, or how difficult it is to break, that will make it more convincing. So then we'll look at the functions and then feedback from users. Do you find information on this? So do you think that the compost and the fiber will be possible? Wow, no information from you. So you don't have an opinion. So just by looking at this product here. So do you think that it's possible to make compost? Does it make sense? Aha, Jay is right again. Yeah, some users say yes, but we don't know whether so then some judges could give yes, some judges could give perhaps. And it's okay to have variation among the judges. So now the next questions we have is on the economic value. So what is the economic value from this product? It's a fiber. So why would people buy it? So here we don't have the information compared to other competitors. So people will not know why. So they only give the production cost and they give the price. And they make a margin here. But we don't know why people would buy this fiber. Is it for the beauty, or is it for the quality of fiber itself, or what? So when we look at the 3 examples of their potential customers here, so no proof, no information. So we really have no information to evaluate. So some judge would say no, and some judge would say, yeah, I just make a wild guess, so it could be perhaps. Yeah. And Jay is right again. So no cost attributed to the marketing and distribution. So that's also the weakness of the business model. Go back to the question. Again, we have on, so the economic value for the customer is not clear. We don't know why the customer should buy this. So the competitive advantage, so the answer would be somewhere 1 or 0. The value proposition is also 1 or 0. The communication of the value is also between 1 and 0. We don't know how desirable it is, no information. And we do not know about the potential markets. So what is the size of the fiber market, or at least the an estimate of the number of potential buyers? So if there are only 3 buyers and we don't know the kind of volume, so the fieldwork evidence is very, very weak. So if you look at the target social impact, so the social value proposition, what do you think? So if they are able to sell the fiber here, so how about the social impact? Do you think it's good social value proposition for the government to buy it, for the society to accept it? Yes, I agree with Jay. Yes, the social value and the impact creation. Yeah, because so the more fiber they produce, the less hyacinths will be in the water. So that will be less pollution. So that could good. And so with the UN goal So does it align with the target UN goal? The problem with this presentation, we don't know the UN goal. So they may have presented in the round 1, but they don't repeat it in round 2. So then we don't have the information. So the product is clear. We can imagine what kind of goal it is. So then a general judge would give perhaps, because we guess the goal it has. Like Jay say, UN goal is life on the water. Yeah, and strict judge would give 0 because they don't have the information. So the product can create the intended impact. Yeah, it could be if it sells. So the answer is yes. And then the size of potential beneficiaries, we don't know the size. They don't know how many tons that would be used. So that will be on the area that they will be able to intervene. We don't have that information. So it can create the intended impact. The answer is yes. However, the size, we don't know. So it could be 0. And a very general judge could say yes, by looking at the data that they presented here under the some of the documents here. But it's still very weak evidence. So this is a report by someone else. So here we can find a little bit information, but it's not much. So a general judge would give perhaps, and strict judge would give 0. So feasibility. So first of all, about the activities. Do you think that these activities are good to make an impact? So if you look at the business model, the activity is
production.
So
it is
the
important to
activity they
mention
have
that in order
is to collect raw materials, defibering and break the fiber and reunite the waste to make the fertilizers. So do you think these activities will be sufficient in order to create the impact? Yes, general judge may say, yes, that's a core business, but other judges say, well, you only make an impact if you can sell it. So an important part of the activities that they are missing here is to pitch the economic values and to make, and also fail to show the infrastructure needed to include machineries and equipment and so on, because this one cannot be done 100% by hand, even for collecting and infrastructure needed lacking. And then the develop and manage the resources. So they say employees, decorticator machines and water hydrants, but the resource that they really need, which is missing here. Can you guess what resource it is? Not just the employee, not just the machine, not just the water hydrants. A resource very, very important to make an impact. Funding, exactly. So now you see this business model, they will need certain upfront payment. So for the machinery, they will need upfront payment. But depending on the business, some business will say they will get people together first. They can ask money before they have to spend. But for this business, definitely they will need to collect the hyacinth first. They will need to pay for the equipment. They will need the land, which is very, very important if they want to make compost. And how do they treat the pollutions that may come out of the process of treating hyacinths? So we don't know here. So the funding and the land are missing there. So that the answer we would have this one is, it's not compelling, it's perhaps. So now if you look at the competences, so what competence do they have? So we have the information about the team, but what competence do they have? These are the team members. They only give the picture of the person and the name of the person, but we don't know what kind of task, what kind of background each person has, or what kind of task each person can perform. And we don't know how different this business is compared to others. Yeah. So that the information is lacking. So we don't know what kind of distinctive competences here. Does it have the right resource? Right now, we only see the human resource. We don't have information for any other kind of resource, which is needed even among the thing that they list as the machineries or the employees. Even when we look at the people they have here, I don't know who will be able to do the braiding. This is the long one. So the employees here, and if the employees are needed for the activity, so who will collect the raw material? Who will defiber the material? Who will braid the fiber, etc.? And now in the presentation, we don't have any of these people. So they are all university students. So the managers and logistic managers, marketing manager, blah, blah, just the title. So the main employees who will make the fibers, it's lacking. So this one cannot have a good grade. So normally it's 0 here. So committed partners for the key activities and resources. So the key activities we have, so the partners they have the university partners, they have the women entrepreneurship, aqua plant, aquatic ants. So we're able to learn how water directly and affect the members. And then, so still it's on the learning side about the this kind of plant, but we don't have partners that help them make the production. So the answer would be also between 1 and 0. So committed partners, they have 2. The profitability, so now is the logic clear? How do they make money? They make money just by selling the fiber and selling the compost. So yeah, it's between yes and perhaps. So here we just ask them for the presentation of the logic, how they will make money. But now the return. So the return is perhaps because it's very little. It's not as strong as you look at it from the business point of view. So social return, oh no, this is the wrong. So they calculate.
So half will leave us incomes
So
of
the profit here, they make the profit margin of 35%. And then they forget the very important part of the cost here. Let's say raw material, machinery, labor cost, packaging, and light water and transportations. And this side is for the compost. And so even with that, with their calculation, the return is very small. Yeah, the economic return is minimum. I agree with Jay. And now if we look at social return on investment. So economic return is minimum and social return on investments. They don't make any calculation, so we don't know. So social return here, they have to say that their capacity, if they are only able to produce 100, here, they just say the number for 100 100 meter of 100,000 meter of fiber, it's very, very small number. So social return is very small. So if it is okay for the starting point, but they should give us, so now if everything goes well, what would be the reach? So the potential productions here will depend on the access to the areas where there's a water hyacinth problem. And now if it's only on 100,000 meter, the social return is very small. And then you will look at the statistic, interview, and observations. So it should be perhaps, because no real statistics there. Some interview, we see the people, and information on KPI is very small. And for the ESG integration, they don't talk about the kind of impact they create. If there are any negative impact, they don't mention that. And they don't mention that how they measure the ESG performance. And so the answer for this part is very low. And the crowdfunding and the campaign here, it's also very, so they can they connect the backers? So who are the backers? So they talk about the funding here. So they have the government agency, they have the universities, they have the company, they contribute, they should make. So here, these are only their wish, but they have not really received the actual here. So the strategy to connect. So depending on the judge, that will be yes or perhaps. The critical contributions is between 0 and 1, as the contribution needed for the business is not fully developed. And then the contribution pledge, there's only one contribution pledge, so it's credible. They show us the image of the signing and the letter. And then the actual contribution in cash or in kind, there's only one. And they talk about the government contribution here, but we don't have evidence about the government. So they talk about the government, the university, but when we look at the funding, meeting alliances, further it's here, and we don't have that much information. So it's not very convincing in terms of, not credible. And the contribution is still very small. So that would be between 0 and 1. And then the learning curve is, we already practiced from the last round, so we don't need to cover it again. So now I hope I cover quickly the answers to the evaluation form. So you got the handout, the PDF of the evaluation form. Now you have the online evaluation form. So I look forward to receiving your evaluation soon. So before we close the class, is there any questions or or comments? No? Okay.
Rob, I just want to ask, sorry, I just want to ask, when are we supposed to submit the evaluation? Is there a deadline?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's written on the acceptance letter to the TOT. Let me pull it out again, just as a reminder for everyone. It's on the acceptance letter. Yeah, so today I will send you the recording of this week and last week. So for round 2, Here, my oh, my bad. It should be written here. You are right. So you have because we have you have 1 week usually to evaluate the team. So today is the 28th, and then the deadline should be on the 4th. Because if you pass, then on the 15th, I will send you the real team to evaluate. It's my bad. It should be here. Online.
I thought it was on the 2nd of June. Qualifying
You're right.
test.
Yeah, it's written here. Now my eyes is not working well. Yeah, the qualifying test, the 2nd of June, you're right. Do you see it on the screen? So, yeah, the qualifying test, 2nd of June, that is the deadline to submit the evaluation. And then the material will send to you. And I have already sent you the material, right? So it's the evaluation form. And I will send it again in the email. Okay, good. So I look forward to receiving your evaluation, but also this round we have to be careful because last round some teams use AI to create the videos and the information, and also some of the judges use AI to write the evaluation as well. So yeah, so those judges. So I am sending out the confirmation of those who passed the social innovation certification I will announce it on the 1st of June. Okay, so you will receive your certification by email on the 1st of June, because I saw that some of the judges that didn't do a very good evaluation and those who just use AI to evaluate. But that certain level is okay, but if you rely 100%, so if students use AI to generate the response and the teachers use AI to evaluate, then we don't have the real business here. Okay, so this round it's very we pay attention, and also have to remind students. So if the presentation is AI generated, and if it is only for the suggestions or it's like voiceover, then we accept it. But the contents have to be made by human. If the contents are made by AI, then we will not accept it. Okay? So thank you very much for your participation. Oh yes, there are many tools to recognize AI, yes. So HEC Montreal has its tool, so I just pass it through, so I find it right away who use AI to make the evaluation. And even on the web, you can buy some tools like detecting AI. So there are now many tools to detect whether the video is made by AI or the text is written by AI. Of course, we cannot detect 100%, but lots. But also when you read it, you have a feel whether it is made by human or it's generic information by AI. Okay, so yeah, I'd like you to pay attention. If students use AI, signal us right away. So then, yeah, so we don't want to waste time evaluating something is not produced by the participants. Okay, thank you. And for those of today, I already gave you a demo of the case writing. So for those of you who want to write the case for publication, so send me your updated case outline. So you follow today demo, and then we can continue with you until publication. Okay. So there will be at least 1 or 2 more classes dedicated for case writing. So it is out of the scope of the TOT, but I am willing to give it for those who want to make the case for publication. Okay.
And Miss Mai, wasn't the deadline for us to send you the update of the case?
Yeah, the update of the case for publications, then I don't have the deadline, because they say that for the competition, it's one. Okay. But for publication, I require a lot more. So the deadline for the competition is very simple version of the case. So the deadline is the 14th of June. That is for the competition. But if you want to publish, then I don't give you a deadline. So when you are ready, you give me a good draft. So from your side, I say, okay, I think that it's ready for publication. So then my coaching will be more useful for you. So we'll get closer to publication, okay? But hopefully we can do it in the summer, right? So we finish it soon. You already have the materials. No, it's just write it in a way that is publishable. So depending on your speed, how you work, and you go there. So let me repeat, for the competition, the requirement is a lot lower. So only 5 questions we ask. Is it relevant, right? So the argument is good. Is it original? And does it demonstrate a good understanding of the concept? So for the competition, it's very simple requirement. But if you are determined to make it a publication, then you can send it to me when you feel ready. All right. So thank you, everyone. A good night for those in Asia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Good night for those in New York.
Thank
And
you. Bye-bye.
yeah.
See you.
Thank you.